say hello to my little friend.
Yeah. And it's like bright too. It's like radioactive.
At a pond meant for turtles.
Okay.
So tell me,
Those
y'all.
type of things in nature that are bright to let you know to stay away from them.
Yeah.
Actually, I think this is like
What's your sign? You were a Taurus?
yeah.
How do I remember your sign but not your name? That's crazy.
It'd be like that.
Wait,
I
time to put him on Buddha.
That was like a
Buddha is one with nature officially.
Yo.
So tell me, y'all, how have you been dealing? Oh, my fault.
You're putting like
Too much nature energy, Buddha. Oh. So how is your dealing with COVID-19 thus far, ever since it first started? Like, how do y'all feel like you've been managing to cope with it?
you know, like subcategories here. Like in terms of
So like
health.
good, doing alright, terrible, slash like absolutely panicking. Maybe those are my subcategories.
I feel like the beginning, it was just like, it was so like because we also started in the cold season, so everyone was kind of inside anyways, but like, because like between like the quarantine and just the constant, like it was a lot of fear, so people were like, I feel like there was a lot of, you know, frustration and like, and it just coming so sudden, you know, it was messing people up a lot in the beginning, and I feel like most people adjusted, though like people's lives have still been affected regardless, and a lot of them are still recovering.
Yeah.
You know, but I feel like it's definitely doing better. I feel like it's been you have to have evolved in some way within this process. You know,
Yeah.
in some way, shape, or form, I feel like everyone has grown some part of themselves throughout this, because of just like how not prepared for it we were. Like, we had to get out of our comfort zones in some way, shape, or form, whether we wanted to or not. Like within this whole time, you know. So
Honestly, I'd say one thing that's like definitely helped me evolve, like as far as being out here, was like you reaching out to me and being like, yo, like let's kick it, like I got like a birthday party or something, you can come and meet some of my friends. And then like I've met a lot of cool people in your circle, yeah, especially you all. No, that's definitely a blessing. No, I just wanted to share that, you know, with y'all while we're having this conversation. Yeah, like I didn't know what to think. I was at like my ropes end. I just cut off like so many other people, not for seriously bad reasons, but I'm like, we're already going down separate paths. And now there's a pandemic. I don't know if we're about to make that truth out here.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like it's been like a journey. I don't even feel like it's been a year. I feel like it's been a few.
Right?
no,
I feel like in the beginning, well, okay, in the beginning for me, I was actually traveling, so my experience was different. Like, I was first in Belize when I heard about this. I see it. Yeah. And I had came back, and basically I had no job. Like, I didn't know what the fuck was going on, and I was just like, yo. But it ended up being okay in the beginning. I was a little bit stressed at first about money, mostly.
Yeah.
Once they enacted that unemployment thing, like that was straight, and then I feel like able to navigate life the way that I wanted to, because I didn't have the pressure of the outside world. It was more like my internal world and working on that. I actually had COVID in March.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and
Would you like to tell some of your Would you like to tell some of your fellow Mass residents about that, like in terms of your too intimate of an experience?
No, I'm just kidding. No, I just feel like I've exhausted like talking about it, because every time I tell someone, like they're like, "Oh my god, how was that?" Mad questions. But in short, for me, because I'm pretty healthy, I feel like it wasn't that bad. I did have a few moments where I dead ass thought I was gonna die, but I didn't, so that's good. I felt like I was like sick. Like I was just sick for like a week with like I don't know, kind of just like the flu kind of thing.
It's funny you
And-
mentioned back in March.
Wait, well, there was one part. After that, after I was like a week of me being sick, I started getting like really bad chest pains, and I dead ass couldn't breathe, and I was just coughing. I was coughing so much. Like those are the moments where I thought I was gonna die. Like I'm not even exaggerating, because I remember one time I was having a panic attack while I was sick with it, and I couldn't breathe. And you can't breathe when you have a panic attack. Like, and I just kept coughing and just catching my breath, and I was like, yo, any second now, my lungs are just gonna give out. Like,
Did you get tested for you to like know that you officially had it,
Yeah.
or was it like early on?
no,
or-
yeah, I knew that I had it.
Shit.
I didn't know. At first, I didn't know, and I went to the doctors thinking I didn't have it. I thought like maybe I had like a cold or a sinus infection or like pneumonia or something like that. And they had tested me for everything, bronchitis, everything.
It's
And
just
they were like,
COVID.
listen, honey, we done tested you for everything.
Yeah, no, it's just interesting you said March, because I don't know, between me and like one of my close buddies who works demolition and my uncle, like we feel like even though we didn't test for it till way
Yeah.
later on and read negative, like some shit definitely had to have happened like in the beginning, because we were feeling like wicked off.
Maybe
It was psychological.
Yeah.
It was very just,
it was like,
all you're hearing is like, these are the symptoms, this is this,
Yeah,
all the cases are
exactly.
going up, and it's like a brand new thing, so you're like, what if I have it, and then you start feeling like, and you
Yeah.
can't breathe, and then you get
And the-
tight, and then you get the symptoms, and it's like,
And it started
I
like
feel like
in
it was like a
allergy
fear thing.
season.
Yeah, like I was already getting like the fucking runs and shit. I was doing a whole bunch of all-nighters during the internship. Like I was getting like the sniffles.
That's the thing that made
I think
the
that was the
fear
point.
aspect worse
Yeah, I
too.
think that was
Like,
the point.
and between like it was allergy season, flu season, and COVID.
Right.
So it was like there's just so many things. So it just made people. That kind of made like in between that and then just like quarantine and people just like being forced to stay inside. It was just a lot of like
Yeah.
so much fear. It was crazy. You
It was
couldn't
like,
avoid it.
I feel like that was like almost the point though. I feel like there was like a fear instilled in us for some
Yeah,
For
I
some
mean,
greater-
greater
it
like
was-
control.
Pandemic.
Exactly.
Well,
I mean,
I mean-
even like it came out that the numbers were being like forged. So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
also just fucked me up, because it's just like
I-
this shit was just, it was founded on lies to begin with. Do I think people were sick? Yeah. Was I sick? Yeah. But is it everything that the news made it out to be? Absolutely not.
So many people have been saying that shit too. So like, okay, in hindsight, knowing that you're much healthier and that you guys are clearly in like a better state of mind, like,
Yeah.
what would you tell the other people that may not believe in any of the hype or believe too much in it? What would you say?
I think it just really like boils down to like what risk level like every individual is comfortable with. Like, because at the end of the day, like everybody's personal like actions have consequences. So it's like, you know, especially you were just talking about like the numbers and how they were being forged and like how everyone was like trained to live in fear. But now that like I would say, I don't know if I'm speaking for just myself, but I've seen it. Like, I think after a while, everybody got so exhausted of being so scared. And there are still people out there who are scared, yeah, but like most people have relaxed in the way that they do things, and there hasn't been like serious like rising in like case numbers because of that. So I feel like it's just like, if you're comfortable with doing something, like, then that's you and do it, but just know that like once you cross a line, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, there are other people involved. Like the nature of this is that like you being sick could mean that like
It could have potential downfalls.
Yeah.
Like,
so as long as you
we don't
recognize
know.
that.
Like, truthfully, you know, we don't know if it truly is what it is, or we don't know if it's not what it is at all.
Yeah.
So how do you navigate something that's so like
Unknown, for sure.
You
it's
don't.
just
Yeah.
to be aware that it exists and be aware of like the actions to take.
Yeah, and the actions other people are taking around you.
Aware of
Yeah.
yourself.
Because you have to be conscious of yourself and others, because you know you can be doing everything right, but if you're around a bunch of people who aren't doing things right, then what you're doing, like, that's the thing about a virus, and like this one specifically, is that like if you're somewhere like doing something and like you see a bunch of like people around you they don't care and they don't believe it and they don't think it's right,
Some shit gonna happen.
what you're doing doesn't really make a difference. So it's like at that point, the only real option you have is to quarantine, is to like stay home or just stay outside, like be in outdoor places. But but you have to know that it's real. Like you can't. There's
Some
no
people don't
like.
think that though. Like there's really no way for you to even know that. So people think otherwise because of the information that they have. You think what you think is the information you have. Like there's no way to say that anyone's wrong or right. Like what we're receiving is all we can rely on. So it's like unless you're counting all the numbers yourself or doing all the shit yourself, there's no way for us to do that.
To me, it
That's
is very real.
That's what I'm saying.
And
it could be different for people.
I think for the sake of keeping just people's, I don't know how one could argue that COVID isn't real.
Maybe you should do the research then. See what people are talking about. Like, because people probably believe that probably have a valid. Like, if you're curious, if you have a
jumping like all the supporters, that's pretty much people who don't believe it.
Okay, so it's funny that we're mentioning the idea. It's all relative to the people you surround yourself with. Like, for example, in this visual instance, someone could be like, "Oh, like we're not social distancing on camera, this, that, and the third," but like we're outside. Like I can tell all of us generally take precautions, and like we're around people that we can trust. So like this type of situation like doesn't scare me outdoors because like
I think
versus it's like weird.
Of people, though. Like believing that like the energy and the people that you are attracting aren't people who would like pull up to a function having symptoms, or like pull up to a function in a situation where like they knew they were exposed to somebody. And like even though there's like risk with anything, and like it could be a
Buddha is one with nature officially.
If you believe a certain way, that whoever you're around reflects whatever you believe.
See, I be on that wave, but then it fucks me up because both of my folks are coming up on like 60 pretty soon. And my pops is diabetic, and then we have like a 90-year-old grandmother. But I still be out here, especially doing this type of shit. Like the other day, I was trying to interview one of my buddies up in Lowell. And I was telling my pops, like, hey, I think it's going to be kind of a stretch to drive all the way back. And then he's like, when are you going to be done? Like 10 o'clock, 10:30, like you need to be back. And I'm just like, I just explained to you the situation. And he was like, well, this whole thing out here, like, you can't just be moving reckless because if you get it, then if I catch it, it's game over, this, that, and the third. And I'm thinking in the back of my mind, like,
we really don't know that.
like, you still go out and like do groceries, so fucking.
Okay, so when I had gotten it, I didn't go anywhere.
I feel like it's a guilt trip, yo.
I swear on everything, I didn't go fucking anywhere. I went to the store, to the grocery store to get food, and I went to the gas station to pump gas. So if I got wherever I got it from, it was those two places.
Right.
That's it. Like, so it doesn't matter. Like, and on top of that, I was around my whole family unmasked, like touching everything, coughing on everything, using the same bathroom for over a week before I knew I had it. No one got it.
Yeah.
That in itself, to me, I was like, red flag. Like, you expect me to just believe shit because you're telling me it? Like, whatever, do you. If you want to believe everything you read in the media, that's you. But for me, I don't know. I'm going to believe my eyes. I'm going to believe the shit that I experienced.
Yeah, like, I'm still, like, wear a mask and pretty much, like, everywhere I go in terms of, like, a public confined space. And even when I'm, like, outside, if I'm, like, moving at a slow enough pace where I'm passing someone and I could be like, like, best believe that's just covered, but otherwise, like, oh no.
Yeah.
So I guess that's another part of why I wanted to put this whole project together. It was also just to kind of like crowdsource where people of different ages are at, because I know right now there's this whole talk about how young people are the main spreaders of it. The main spreaders of the virus. But at the same fucking time, I don't know, at least in Massachusetts, I feel like, I don't know, it's relative to who you are and who you hang around, but all the people my age, like you guys, that I'd be running into, like, we're pretty solid about this shit, yo. So it kind of hurts knowing that there's forces like the media and everybody else. We're so quick to point the finger and be like,
Yeah.
it's you people!
Yeah. I think it's just a good finger at someone, like always.
Oh, that's just crazy.
Always.
But aside from COVID, like, I don't know, as of recent, since fall began, like, what have y'all been doing to, like, keep your mind right?
I've just been in school.
Wait, you on that Zoom life? Yo, tell people about that Zoom life. No, for real.
I'm honestly chilling. Like, it's fine. I mean, I was homeschooled my whole life until high school, so like still also but I didn't think I would like it, and I was also like, no, I never did anything online. Like, I just had like workbooks and stuff.
Whoa, keep it going. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I didn't think I would like it because in the beginning of the quarantine, it was just like meltdowns every day because I was supposed to be moving to New York. So it was like very, very sad all the time. But now, like, for the situation, like, I'm not in New York, so I need to like assimilate to where I am, what I'm doing, my reality is. So yeah, I'm good. I'm able to be with my family for another year.
Yeah, oh, let me see it again.
I'm fine with the classes, like, it's fine.
Alright.
But I'm just manifesting that next year.
Don't worry, we gonna get through it. You gonna be in New York. I mean, you were just in New York, just kind of like visiting and having fun, so I'm sure shit's gonna resolve
I
itself.
have friends that are in college there
Yeah,
now,
like if you want to do
and stuff. And I was like, wow, they're actually here. So hopefully next year. I think it'll be able to go.
So on that same type of energy, we was just talking about like signs and horoscopes. Like, what's the networking like for you guys during this pandemic? Like, have y'all just been sticking to your friends or family, or have you been looking for other people that match your signs energy? bring that world to us.
I haven't really, like, been like, hey, you're let's hang out. But, I've done, like, vending events, and that's how I've, like, met new people. Like, the first vending event I did, where I sold, like, my art, like, the first lady that came to my table was like, are you free this day? I want you to vend here from, like, my event. And I was like, sure. And then I was like, oh, your outfit. She's like, oh, thank you, $50. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love thrifting. And she was like, oh my gosh, let's go thrifting. So that was like just a nice connection. And then we just talked about, we just together and talked about it. She was there at, I think, the same time we were there. The girl that thrifting. Yeah, they were sick.
What's fun is
that's like,
oh, I got it. I use my mom.
meant to be
That's
my mom's friend.
Spell my name.
See you come out of all of
I
it.
did. And she said, oh,
What place do you feel like has better energy for like the art scene, New York or
so
Boston?
I pretty much,
That's not even a question.
I know it's not a question, but always have to see it to see if there's anyone who will stick for the city.
Boston is a college city. Boston is for school, education, healthcare.
It's up and like it's up. Art scene is up and coming here still, you know, and it's getting there. Like there's so much talent.
there's so many creators
New
in
York,
Boston.
New York is so much bigger, and like New York has so much more competition. So people like, and we were talking like with everything in New York. Like New York has like there's so much of everything that everything is competitive, and everyone's trying to be the best. Like people in Boston aren't like the people in Boston are just trying to get Boston on the map. People in New York aren't trying to get New York on the map. They're trying to prove that they're the best in New York. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like they're trying to see who the real king is and all this other
like
shit.
it's more more of like a race there as opposed to like in Boston where it's more so just like we're just trying to get, you know, like another cousin Sis, you know, pretty much. You know, like we're trying, you know, New York kind of has already established.
I mean, I'm not disputing. I'm just kind of like, damn, can't we all just like do our own thing? Why everybody trying to follow that one lane?
I think maybe like through faith, like think about how Boston is. Like I said, there's so many creatives in Boston. So when you finally see someone that you can relate to, that looks like you, that used to be you, in a position that you strive to be in, I think it just creates almost like a herd. Like,
oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, he did it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to be like this nigga. Like, you know,
and
all
we need
these
that
young
inspiration.
rappers. Yeah, I think it is a good thing, but it's just like you said, individualism. You know. On that note, I kind of feel like too that's been a big theme for this whole like COVID thing, like since March to like now. I mean, astrology based too. There's a reason for that, but it's just been so much individualism, like
trying to like build community again after everything's been so much about like that doggy dog kind of.
I feel you. Yeah, I feel you on that. That's not what I meant, but I was more so saying like I feel like everyone was put on their journey even if they weren't on it, kind of, or if they didn't realize they were on it. And a lot of people were able to really focus on themselves and just be an individual. So we moved astrologically. We're moving from Age of Pisces and merging into Age of Aquarius. And Age of Aquarius is all about being an individual, being unique, recognizing yourself like on your journey pretty much, and then like being individuals in a community. You know what I mean? Like what you bring to a community as an individual, not just being defined by your community. You know, you defining yourself. And that's what I feel like a big thing has happened over this course of time, because like even the people that are struggling, it's still looking at yourself, right? Like the people that have been really struggling with mental health, like I can even speak for myself, so I'm not saying this biasly. I had a lot of distractions before COVID.
Same.
So having this happen, I was able to look at myself fully for the dark, for the light, like for the things that I need to work on, you know. What my anxiety still existed, my depression still existed, there's ups and downs. So it's like looking at yourself, for me, clear honesty, and actually now finally feeling like I have opportunity without so much pressure of capitalism and materialism and work and responsibility to just focus on myself, to focus on the creative.
It's crazy how it took a pandemic to like literally set the whole world back and be like, listen, what the fuck are we doing?
Exactly. If you think about it, like, I know this astrologically, but I'm saying this in general too. Like, if you think about it, shit happens for a reason. Like, even the bad shit, you know, even if we're like, oh, I wish this didn't happen. No, there's a reason why it happened. It had to happen for some reason.
We're eating up
that's
so much
bigger
of
than
the
us.
damn earth, and then now we're forcing things.
Exactly. We needed to slow
forcing things
down.
out.
Honestly, I don't think mad people needed to die in the process, but maybe that's what needed to happen too. Who am I? I'm not. I don't know.
Who
I'm
are
not
we
the
to question?
source.
Yeah.
I'm not the source. All I know is the source is like within me, and I feel it. I'm living my human experience, but I don't know everything.
I dig that radiant energy with the sun shirt, the Pink Floyd. I feel like that definitely matches the occasion. I don't know, yeah. And what was your name again? I feel like I've only met you a couple of times, and I already feel really bad for forgetting it. Kai. Yeah, so Kai, would you like to tell us more about like your experience of like, I don't know, what's been helping to keep you grounded during these times? I don't know, you already, at least from my impression, you seem like a very grounded person already. And I was wondering if there were any tips that you could give to other people who are trying to find that same level of center.
Buddha is one with nature officially.
Yo.
How you interact with yourself and like
I feel
how
like
your emotions respond.
that's very true. I definitely feel like I'm
Okay.
like I said,
It's like really simplified. It's like the sun. It's like I
Yeah,
feel.
that's what I was looking for. Hold on,
What
let
if
me
you
find
do
this.
a 360, a complete turn? So now you're facing.
Wait, so then what's the difference between your sun and your ascendant sign? If the sun is I am, then
Exactly. I like
Your
that you're facing
ascendant,
the side.
is there a better way to like describe this? I seem, yeah, this is what I was looking for. So here's an overall explanation. Your rising sign, I seem. First impressions, your appearance or your style, your view of the world. It's like the surface level you. You identify with this most during childhood. It's been said, as you study astrology, that your ascendant is reflective of the role that you were kind of forced to play. So it's still you, but it's how you were socialized by the world. So like, I'll give you an example. For me, I'm a Libra rising. In my family specifically, I feel like I was forced in the role of creating balance and harmony. And that's just an example. Yeah. It can be like your egoic or instinctive reactions. So like, let's say I'm going up to you and I'm like, hi, like my name is da-da-da. This is how I did that. That's my rising acting. So that's me acting like a Libra, me introducing myself to you and being social and being like, you know what I mean? And then you being a Cancer, kind of soft and shy back to me. But really, you're kind of bubbly and open and radiant. Yeah.
and then the moon sign, like
Your moon sign is I feel. So it's your emotions. I'll read you what. Your emotions, who you are deep down inside. Usually the part you keep hidden from most people, except those you're truly comfy with. This can be different for different people. Like if you had a moon sign of like, for example, like Sagittarius, you may, because Sagittarius is more blunt and open, you may be more apt to share that side of yourself. But for other signs like Taurus or like Scorpio or something like that, or Cancer even, you may be more private with your emotions just in general because it's how the sign is.
See, wait, I wanna touch on
What your soul needs. Hold on, I want to read this to you. What your soul needs, how you deal with your feelings, and can offset sun behaviors. Where you look for emotional security and your emotional reactions.
I was gonna say, I feel like for me, I feel like it's the opposite with the one before the last one you said.
yo, swing me a couple of those puffs before you go on with that. S'il vous plaît.
I feel like my moon is more what gets shown on the outside, like, or at least what I'm more comfortable showing, and like on the outside. And my Leo is kind of more like inside, or like when I'm like by myself, kind of energy.
Well, your Leo is in the 12th house, so the way you exclude it, the way you push your Leo energy is like a Pisces, and your moon sign is Pisces. So that makes sense why you say that, but it's really like you are acting like a Leo, but you're presenting it like a Pisces. So it's kind of like that. That's what the house is kind of explaining. And on top of that, you're a Scorpio rising, so like you are a water sign. You know what I mean? So it makes sense that you come off like that. Because to me, you're more like Scorpio.
I got like like fire.
Wow. Water. Earth. You have the Virgo, Mercury.
Yeah,
I know your
the rest
chart.
of it. I know those
Libra,
three.
Venus, and Scorpio, Mars.
Yes, I can always count on you. Like, what's my Mercury again?
I like your chart a lot because all the signs reside in their home. Most of them, like the sun is ruled by Leo, Pisces is not ruled by, but so and then Mercury is ruled by Yeah. That makes sense to me. Do you know what? No, you probably don't know what house your moon is on.
I do not know nothing about
So how often do y'all check your charts to like
I got that shit memorized. What do you mean?
I don't.
You just hear me repeat his chart back to him?
There's an app, CoStar. It like does all that for you. You just throw in all your like birthday and like the time you were born and stuff, and it like makes your chart for you. So you can just memorize it through that, and it explains like what everything means pretty much. Like, so if you're, say you're
I did like I think a 3-sign chart. So I put in like birthday, time I was born.
And like where you were born.
City.
And then
Yeah.
city where I was born. And then
Don't use CoStar.
I
bet.
have CoStar just so that I can know. Okay, I just like, I like how I can just
You can
pull
just
up and
see
click my chart. I never
I
use it for
I
like
the
actual.
visuals of CoStar. Like I feel like it looks the best. I feel like all the other astrology apps look kind of cheap. Like CoStar.
True.
No,
CoStar's always bougie with
they
the
do.
like.
Funny.
I like.
With
most
I
of
mean,
them
if
see
you're
it
not
look kinda
paying for any of this
bootleg.
stuff,
They,
then
like,
how
the
can you
information is
say
good.
well
It's just, like
looks
the visually. Like,
It's
CoStar
just like CoStar is really simple. I think CoStar really did the damn thing in terms of making astrology mainstream.
Yeah.
Because it's like you said, it's like a sleek, simple app. It's easy for everyone to understand.
But it's good if you're not,
But
for
it's
people who
not
aren't trying to get
real.
like. Well, I feel like it's just for if you're not trying to get in depth.
But that's the thing, it's not even accurate. So even if you don't want to be in depth, you're still getting inaccurate information.
In terms of like your placement.
Yeah, my chart is wrong on there.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
Hold on. Would you say
it's wrong
actual
for a lot
feature?
of people. One and two, the information they give you can be wrong too. Like
Hey Kai, are
the
you big on these signs?
aspects or like
Are you
like
big
the
on
information.
astrology?
You know what I mean? Like CoStar has been known for like saying shit. Like they just been saying aggressive, outlandish shit to people. Like it's totally not accurate. It'd be like don't don't deal with fire Mars today. Like what does that mean? Like that doesn't make sense. Yeah. That doesn't, and it's just not accurate.
How are you gonna tell someone just like
I don't know.
today?
As
Like
like
your best friends are fucking whatever.
That's just as a literal like astrologer. I say that for myself because I've been studying astrology for like almost 10 years.
Yeah.
Like literally since I was a little teenage, preteen. Obviously different then, but I've literally been studying it for that long. So knowing the things that I know and then trying to look at that app, I'm just kind of like,
I'm doing
flips table.
now.